TikTok's Chinese owner ByteDance has signed a deal to sell over 80% of its U.S. assets to American and global investors and avoid a U.S. government ban. The deal is a major milestone for TikTok, which says the short video app is used by over 170 million Americans. It comes after years of disputes that began in August of 2020 when President Donald Trump attempted to ban the app over national security concerns. He changed his stance after successfully using the app during his second presidential campaign. Paul Triolo is partner and China expert at the strategic advisory firm DJ Albright Stonebridge and joins us now from Washington, D.C. Good to have you on DW. Now, is this a done deal now, or can someone still veto that process?
Great question. Great question. I think it's largely a done deal. I mean, this has been going on now, as you know, for many, many months. I think that while there's the biggest potential disruptor of this deal is Beijing, and it looks like the Chinese authorities are going to approve this. There's no real evidence that they really care deeply about the U.S. operations of TikTok. They care about whether the company is getting a fair treatment. There's no forced divestiture, and whether there's no forced tech transfer of the AI algorithm. And all those things seem to be part of this deal. So I would expect, given how much attention this has gotten, President Trump has invested a lot in this. J.D. Vance, the vice president, I think this is going to go forward. I have a hard time thinking Beijing at this point is going to slow down the deal.
What will change for TikTok users in the U.S. once this newly formed joint venture takes over?
That's a great question, and it's complicated. The deal appears designed to preserve the global nature of the TikTok community, if you will, by having the U.S.-based company operating a TikTok platform and lease the algorithm from ByteDance. So that algorithm will benefit from training, presumably, on global data from the global TikTok community, and then the U.S. version will also be trained on U.S. user data, which I'm thinking presumably was already happening. For U.S. users of TikTok, this should mean little or no change in the way the algorithm works in terms of recommendations. And also, one of the deal's centerpieces was retaining this TikTok recommendation algorithm, and then it'll be overseen by Oracle. But the actual user experience in terms of influencers and what they're looking at and how things are recommended to them should not change much in my view, because again, a lot of the features of this deal have already been in place for some time.
Do you expect the new owners to change anything about the way the platform handles privacy, hate speech, and political content, all of them issues that have been very contentious on the platform and discussed heavily in the past?
That's a great question. So first of all, on privacy, for U.S. users, it's very tight already. Already, this deal is going to sort of put in place a framework around TikTok's U.S. operations that was already there under so-called Project Texas, which is a 2-year effort to put all the U.S. user data in a secure enclave in Oracle's cloud in Texas. And so that was already there. The deal just more or less formalizes the ownership structure of the operating company in the U.S. So already, arguably, TikTok had the most comprehensive data privacy provisions of any social media company. The other issue of hate speech and is really a tricky one, because TikTok is probably compared to some of the other platforms has lower levels of hate speech, but it's still a problem. So it will be something that the new ownership structure, the new owners, if you will, and the new board will want to tackle head on early on, because that's definitely going to be an issue. But I think TikTok, it's user generated content, and they've already put in place some controls to try to rein in things like hate speech. But this is really a tough problem. All the social media platforms are constantly working to try to figure out ways to better reduce things like hate speech.
As Paul Triolo, partner with strategic advisory firm DJ Albright Stonebridge, thanks so much for all those insights. Great having you on the show today.
Dan Whately is a correspondent at Business Insider. He joins us tonight from New York. Dan, welcome. Behind this years-long push for a divestment of TikTok are these security concerns over a Chinese company, ByteDance. I want to ask you, first of all, does this deal shed any light on that big question, who ultimately controls this algorithm that was such a concern?
I mean, that's the big question. So a lot of the efforts in this deal are to make sure that there's sort of an independent investor group that can look at how the algorithm works and make sure that the US user data is secure. Now, of course, one of those investors is Oracle, and they actually already work with TikTok on that project. So not a ton is changing from what I can tell.
I want to ask about what this means for creators in just a moment, but first I want to ask, this was essentially a forced sale, a shotgun kind of sale here. Do we have a final figure on the price even?
I have not seen a final figure. I mean, we heard the Trump administration throw out $14 billion in September. In the sort of memo that TikTok CEO Shou Chew sent to staff yesterday, he didn't mention a price.
Okay. The new American TikTok will be retrained on American data, we're told. What does that mean for what TikTok users in the US see?
I think it could have actually pretty big ramifications for what users see, just because, I mean, right now, all the videos around the world are used as sort of inputs to decide what to show you next. If we're just seeing US creators or we're just seeing videos created in the US, that could really change the sort of look and flavor of TikTok. I'm not completely convinced that's what's going to happen. Again, there's a lot of details that haven't been fully ironed out.
Dan, you cover TikTok's creator economy very closely. From the perspective of creators and advertisers, what do you see as the kind of short and midterm implications of this kind of structural overhaul?
I think one of the most shocking things about the deal, as I understand it, is that not a lot is going to change for advertisers and potentially not even a lot for creators. And part of that is because ByteDance and the sort of global TikTok team is still expected to control key commercial areas like advertising and e-commerce and marketing. And TikTok CEO even said no global advertising should be disrupted as part of this shift. And so, I think a lot of the changes that are going to be happening are more almost on the back end, like how data is managed and stored and that type of thing.
Do you expect the new owners to change anything about the way the platform could handle issues such as privacy, hate speech, political content?
That's like a great question. I mean, it's really interesting because the new owner group, and we only know a few of the new owners, the tech company Oracle, Silver Lake, which is an investment firm, MGX, which is another investment firm. We don't know a ton about how they're going to think about content moderation, handling data. Again, I mean, I think Oracle has been pretty in the weeds on TikTok's US business for a while. And so I'm not sure we're going to see a ton of shifts from them. I mean, I think there's a lot of thoughts about sort of a Larry Ellison-owned company getting involved in TikTok. Larry Ellison also is a potential financial backer in another big U.S. media deal, the Warner Brothers Discovery bid from Paramount. So, I mean, there's a lot of open questions there, but I think it's a little too early to say whether we're going to see any kind of change in sort of the types of content allowed on TikTok in the U.S.
Dan, can we say that the TikTok saga is over in the U.S., or is there more yet to come?
More yet to come. I mean, this deal has been signed, but it's not actually closed. It's expected to close in January, according to TikTok CEO Shou, but who knows? These deals can take a long time, and that might be optimistic, honestly.
All right, Dan Waitley, a Business Insider. Dan, thank you.
Thanks so much.